Hi ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome back to my channel. Sequel to the previous video, I decided to share with you some of what I put in place in the second production that made me profit. And that same thing is what I'm going to be adding up to some of my other strategies in this third production. What am I going to do differently in this production? The first thing I'm going to be doing differently is I'm going to address the feeds I'm feeding, the feeds I'm administering to my fishes. That is the first one. The second one is I'm going to look into the proximity to my water supply. And the third one is I'm going to sit down, relax, and enjoy it as it. Okay, how do I mean when I said I'm going to look into the feeds? In previous times, in the first production, I made use of conventional feed all through, foreign feed. Excuse you. I was hoping if I could use foreign feed all through, I was going to see a bounty result. My brother and sister, may I not deceive you? I lost huge sum of money. Yeah, and when I did my calculation, I observed that I had bought labels rather than the content. Yeah, in that video, if you could remember, if you have watched it, I told you that most of these foreign feeds, they are now banking on a past glories. Yes, I mean it. It's not a gainsay, because I fell victim of one. I bought a feed. Of course, the feed in your mind now, that same feed, yes, the one you're thinking about, I bought it, and you won't believe, I got something else inside that same sack. I was surprised. So they are just selling names. It has become adulterated. So I will not advise, if you are going to come into fish farming, don't think if you are using foreign feed you are going to see bounty results. No, that is not it. So I actually looked at that in the second production, and that is part of the reason why instead of shortage I add again. In the second production, I only made use of foreign feed for the first few months. Let me say the first 2 months I made use of foreign feeds just to use them, while for the remaining 4 months I made use of local feed. And I want to tell you, the result I got in this second production is by far better than what I got in the first production, where I made use of foreign feed all through. So if you are planning to come into fish farming, or peradventure you already dabbled into it before and you lost, there's this trending saying, Oshilala koko olule, Oshilele keji olule, emilokan. I know you know the gist. Don't give up. Had it been I gave up, I wouldn't have gotten that profit. Although the profit is still small, but I still celebrate it. If you can celebrate your little winning by His grace, you're going to get huge winning soon. So that is what I'm going to put in place in this third production. I'm going to be making use of local feed, and also along the way in the second production I got to know that if you feed your fishes, especially when they are above post-juvenile, if you feed your fishes once in a day, that feed can still sustain them for almost 18 hours. And in the first production, I nearly fed them like 3 times in a day, all through the whole 6 months of raising them. And you know, there's this popular saying, in Yoruba, I'm a Yoruba guy, so ijenishu, which means the way they hurt it is the same way they're going to defecate it. So I got to know that my fishes, if you are feeding them now and in the next 30 minutes you go there again to feed them, they will still respond. But you're actually not doing yourself any good, rather you're wasting money, because the feed you are giving them is not going to convert in their body. Rather, you'll be wasting your money, and they will just be defecating the the ones you gave them initially without converting it into nutrients. They will just defecate it, and you know, my brother and sister, you're wasting money. So I got to know that in the second production, and it worked for me. I curbed my feeding. I reduced it drastically to just once in a day, especially after the second month of feeding them with foreign feed. So the local feed I was giving them, I made use of it once daily, and I got the result. Actually, I would have gotten more results, more than that, if not for the fuel that eats a chunk of it as well, a chunk of my profit. At the same time, just in the concluding part of the previous video, I told you that bore water can never be compared with water that is coming from river. And how do I mean? Volume of water that will be coming if you are using pumping machine to pump directly from a river is going to be more than the pressure your pumping machine from a bowl is going to give you. That's one. The second thing is that if you are pumping from a river, there's tendency for you or for your pumping machine to suck in some fishes or some aquatic animals, and those aquatic animals or even aquatic plants, we call it zooplanktons and phytoplanktons. Yeah, those things, they are nutrients for your fishes. Unlike in your bowl, everything that is coming is just mere water and no other additional organisms they can feed on. I hope you understand. So that is additional reason why you cannot compare your bowl water with the water that is coming from the river. Okay, another thing worthy of note that I'm going to put in place in this production is that I will ensure I formulate my feed myself, because by the time you formulate your feed yourself, you're still going to cut down the expenses. And you know what? That expenses you are cutting down, the balance is in your pocket. You are not giving it out to anybody. And also, let's assume you don't have the capacity to have your own meal yourself. Of course, I will not force you, or I will not even recommend it if you think you are not at that stage yet. You can still go to those feed millers, give them formula, but make sure you monitor it yourself. There's possibility you give them a formula. Okay, give me this amount of fish meal, give me this amount of so ingredients, but by the time you move back, they will do rubbish for you, and you will end up saying it's not converting. That is actually what is happening. So if you know you're not going to be staying with them while making your feed, I think it's better you just go for the conventional feeds and just breed those ones by. So those are the things I'm going to be making use of in this production cycle. If you have the opportunity to make feeds yourself, is by far cheaper compared to if you are making use of all these conventional feeds. You'll be able to cut down on the expenses. And how do I mean? Go and do your research. You will understand better what I'm talking about. So those are the things I'm going to be imputing in this production cycle. Another thing worthy of note that I told you is proximity to water supply. And just like you know, in my first production, over the 6 month span, I spent 970,000 naira just on diesel. Imagine if I had not spent that much on diesel, I think that could have cut down my loss. But that is gone, that is a bygone. But I actually learned from it, and in the second production, if you could see the margin, is a bit on the lower side in the second production. So in the third production, I just got like some plot of land close to the river, and we're going to be making use of that. That is another way out. So right now I've been using petrol instead of diesel because diesel is quite expensive at this moment. I don't know in the part of the world you have, maybe diesel is cheaper. Probably you could be exporting it down to Nigeria, I don't know. But for now I am running away from diesel, so I'll be using petrol engine to power my ponds, which is quite cheaper to maintain. So those are the little things I'll be putting in place. Go on our side, I believe the sky is just the beginning for you and me. We're going to make it. Yeah, by God's grace, we're going to make it. But the watchword is don't quit. If you don't quit, you are going to excel. Just trust me. So ladies and gentlemen, in case you wish to reach out to me, just go to my bio section. You will see my phone number there. You can call me, you can send me WhatsApp message or WhatsApp call. Peradventure you are not in Nigeria. So I remain your humble host. My name is Samuel. Cheers, and make sure you subscribe to this channel, otherwise I'm going to come to your house and I will fight you. Bye for now.